Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at Charlie by Mallrat, which is one of my favourite songs, Australian songs, or songs in general of the last year. Absolute banger. It's a lot of fun to play, and it's got a really repetitive chord structure, which is really great news. It's actually not too full on to learn. So let's get stuck in. I'll show you the three kind of main parts, and then I'll kind of give you a detailed breakdown of how to play them. All right, cool. So yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I think I maybe over repeated there at the end, but that's the kind of idea. I did want to play that last section again, just because you probably heard rhythmically I was doing a little bit more with it than we had done earlier in the song, even though it's the same kind of part, same chords, just kind of going a little bit harder there. And I'll kind of take you through at the end how to do that as well. Okay, so just going from the very top. The first chord in this song is a G major, so we're going to have it in second inversion, which is a D, a G, and a B. And in the left hand, we're just going to have G octaves, so G and G, using your pinky and thumb probably. But the first note you play, you don't play that bottom octave, you just play that top one. So with your thumb, and you're going to go like this. And as you know, that rhythm then repeats. But before you repeat it, you have to add in a quick down the octave G, which kind of leads into that second bar. So I'll do that one for you again. It's a really good one to practice a few times because it's the same rhythm we use for the other chord as well, and pretty much all throughout the song. Great. So the second chord then is a C major. So that's this chord here. Now you notice the one interesting thing I'm doing is instead of playing C major like that with my right hand, I think rhythmically it fits better if I play it with my left hand, and then it's kind of more in that part rather than being in this part. So right hand then only plays E and G, E and G, then C octaves in the left hand, and if you get that position right, it should be the exact same thing you did in the previous bar with the G chord. So that's to say you do this. So again, that's with that rhythm in that left hand C coming up to that second bar. So together those two bars. Awesome. Okay, now we're going to the next section, but just keep in mind that that rhythm is then going to stay the same in the next section. The next section, then the start of the chorus, which I think the lyric is, I just want coffee for breakfast and warm cups of tea. So that's going to be a D major chord there. So just moving everything up one from the C major. Again, similar thing, I'd probably use my top of my left hand, my thumb in the top of my left hand for this D, and then octaves just to help with that rhythm again. So that's now into the start of the chorus. Back to the C. Okay, great. So the second main section we're going to be looking at is the, it's basically then back into the verse, but we got the extra instrument now, which is that little synth keyboard part, which goes like this. And obviously it's not really a piano part, but if you want to add that into your arrangement, then you absolutely can. That's why I thought I'd show you. Maybe you're playing with another keyboard player or something who can play that part, so you just keep doing what happened in the first verse and chorus. But let's give it a go. So I'll just play a simple left hand for now, which is just octaves, but then I'll show you what I was doing over here. So it's going to be this. So it's actually a pretty simple part there. It's just the top notes there are E, B, D, and then back to a B. It's really hard to hear the exact rhythm of that kind of part there that's going, but anything you can kind of do around those notes is going to sound really cool, and it's kind of, I think, a bit of an ethereal vibe. So you can kind of play with it a little bit, and it doesn't have to be exactly the same, but I think that sounds really good. Then the left hand, I was just kind of rhythmically playing what my right hand had been doing in the first verse, which was... So that would then together be like... But I'm also inclined to think, which I didn't play in the original thing that I played, but I'd also be inclined to think that if you're playing solo piano, it might sound just as good, if not better, to do it as like the same rhythm, but do it as octaves down here with a G and a C, just to make a really strong foundation there. So cool. And the last thing I'd mention there, you probably notice, is as well as playing those top notes, I'm kind of pushing into each chord with a G and a B, which is part of the G chord. It doesn't do too much melodically, but it definitely adds something a little bit rhythmically. It gives you that little extra, I don't know, little bit of dance, I guess. Cool. Okay, so then the last bit we'll look at is the third section, which is all I want to do is see you when I get home. Awesome. It's such a great part of the song. It's just so, it's kind of like a really nice combination of lovely and fun. But I'd say the main cool thing about that is there's a fair bit of instrumentation stuff going. So just with the piano part that I'm trying to teach you guys, I've tried to incorporate a little bit of that. I'm not sure this is exactly what the piano does in the original recording, but I think I've kind of put that together with maybe the guitar. I've got a squeaky pedal. I've kind of put that together with the guitar to make a really cool sound. So that section starts with just the left hand and right hand, same positions you started in the very start of the song, but it's kind of this rhythm now. So okay, so that nice offbeat thing. So that's the first one. It's really straightforward just on that G chord, but we're just going to go. Now the important thing here is we're going to lead into the C chord, and that's when we're going to jump up the octave to look at this part. So let's play the C chord first. Okay, now I'm playing the C chord on the beat. this is what I was talking about before with it might not be the exact piano part. I actually suspect that the piano might keep doing this underneath while there's the extra piano part, because they, you know, on a recording, I guess you can have more than one piano going at the same time. Okay, cool. So after you play that G chord, we're going to lean into a C chord. What I do, instead of playing this C chord specifically in the right hand, is like that. I just jump up straight from the G chord, and when I switch to the C in the left hand, use that extra beat that buys you by moving only the left hand. Once we jump up from the G to the C, switch your left hand to a C, and the right hand's going to go, the notes exactly here are G, E, D twice, B twice. Okay? So that's going to be... Okay? So that's really nice. I just want to talk about one other little thing there that kind of mirrors or actually directly mirrors the backing vocal part, but it starts a note late. So the backing vocal part actually starts on the F sharp. Again, it's up to you. You're playing solo piano, you might want to add that note because it's the full melody. You're playing and singing, you might want to leave out that note. I'm not sure. It's really up to you, but I just thought I'd let you know that that note's in there as an option. Not strictly in the piano part in the original song, but definitely a note you can use. If you did want to add that one, you'd just have to jump up half a beat early, which would mean you'd go... Okay? And the last thing I'd say on that little part is when you're playing the G and the C chord, you've got the G down here, but when you switch to the C, you might want to do this with your left hand. That is to say, more or less directly mimic that rhythm that you were playing down here. Because you want to kind of, like I said, combining the piano and guitar sounds, you want to keep that rhythm going while you play up the top. So that would be... Okay, excellent. I think rhythmically with that one, you just want to give it a lot because, especially if you're playing solo piano, you're kind of imitating a few different instruments, particularly drums, and really rhythmic stuff happening in the drums here, which obviously, as we know, it's a really groovy song. So I would be kind of going, left hand is pounding the beat on every single beat. So... main thing I do, and the other really subtle thing I'm doing now is okay, now again, I seriously have my doubts whether the piano is being played that rhythmically in the recording, because you probably don't need to with the guitar and the bass and the drums going, but I would especially advise that for solo piano. It really gets a cool vibe going, and yeah, and then you kind of carrying that same rhythm over to the D, what I'd call the chorus, so that D, C, G part, the D to C part, which I think is, yeah, really towards the end of the song there, but I'll quickly show you that as well, which is... Cool. So then that's really banging, like that's really going really hard. I'll be honest, all of that is really fun to play. We're doing that in original key, which is great news because if you learn that, you can play along to the recording, which I've done heaps of times today already, and it's so much fun to play along to that song. I wish I could sing like Mallrat, and then I'd do a good impression of singing and playing it, but I can't, and that's why I play the piano. So enjoy that. I hope that was really helpful. Please do like, comment, subscribe, and share this one around. I'm really hoping with this channel to put a huge emphasis on particularly independent Australian music. There doesn't seem to be any tutorials for that kind of stuff out there. So if that's the kind of thing you're into and kind of thing you want to learn, please support this channel. I really appreciate it, and I want to be able to keep doing this kind of content. So all feedback is obviously also appreciated in the comments. Cool. All right. Happy learning.